This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
A dangerous chase involving speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour ended in the arrest of a Spokane man.
Even with last month's out-of-the-ordinary snowfall, natural water basins in north central Washington are still likely to suffer shortages this summer.
Tradition is the name of the newest sculpture in downtown Moses Lake.
Football fans in the Wenatchee Valley are counting down the days until their brand new hometown team takes to the indoor turf for the very first time.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
A dangerous chase involving speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour ended in the arrest of a Spokane man between Moses Lake and George Thursday afternoon on I-90. iFIBER 1 News was at the scene near George where the chase ended, but it all began near Hiawatha Road closer to Moses Lake.
About 1 o'clock today, one of our troopers attempted to stop a vehicle for 117 miles an hour on Interstate 90. The vehicle initially did stop, and when the driver was contacted by the trooper, he refused to provide identification. Shortly thereafter, the driver fled. One of our troopers was able to get in position to deploy spike strips and safely bring the vehicle to a stop about 20 minutes into the incident.
Trooper Grant Clark says 34-year-old Kelby McKenzie was arrested without incident and faces charges of the following.
Is looking into the suspicion of driving under the influence, driving on a suspended license, reckless driving, attempting to elude police vehicles, and open container of alcohol in the vehicle.
McKenzie is in jail, but the woman who was riding passenger with him was released. No one was hurt. I'm Sean Goggins for iFIBER 1 News. This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination, from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata.
Even with last month's out-of-the-ordinary snowfall, natural water basins in north central Washington are still likely to suffer shortages this summer. Water experts with the State Department of Ecology said Wednesday the Methow and Okanagan basins in the north of the state face a chance of drought better than 89% based on current snowpack levels, soil, and climate. More central water basins that flow through Chelan County have somewhat less chance of drought, anywhere from 43 to 89%. Statewide, snowpack is 87% of normal, the 11th lowest level of the past 3 decades, and lower than the last 3 years. The state has put forward legislation to help increase drought preparedness. House Bill 1622 passed that chamber this week, which would allow Ecology to issue drought warnings, develop contingency plans, and help shore up state water supplies. It might become necessary. Portions of Okanagan and Ferry counties are already in moderate drought conditions, and runoff in the Okanagan and Methow rivers could be among the lowest in 70 years. Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
Tradition is the name of the newest sculpture in downtown Moses Lake. Tradition of the long-lasting wrestling legacy that has been synonymous with the Columbia Basin for years. With all the art in downtown Moses Lake showcasing various sports, there was nothing that depicted wrestling. CB Tech was commissioned to make the sculpture, and with it finally finished, it found a final resting place in the heart of Moses Lake in Sukayu Square. Wrestling isn't just a big deal in Moses Lake, but the whole basin.
We're not just honoring Moses Lake. We're honoring the sport of wrestling in the Columbia Basin, which has a foundation of success.
Several local wrestling icons from across all generations showed up to celebrate the sport of wrestling in the Columbia Basin. Several speakers gave words on their feelings for the sport before everyone who has, is, or will be wrestling for Moses Lake took the stage to show the wrestling family in the community. John Lane was credited with being the brainchild of the operation, and he explained why a group of people got together to see the sculpture be made.
Moses Lake history of wrestling is we have one of the most storied wrestling programs in the state, well, maybe in the nation, and it just wasn't here, so I didn't notice that. So.
For those who have yet to see the sculpture tradition, it stands tall at Sincayu Square and will be a landmark in Moses Lake for years to come. I'm Adam Chikoski for iFIBER 1 Sports.
Just like the youthful excitement that builds in advance of Christmas morning, football fans in the Wenatchee Valley are counting down the days until their brand new hometown team takes to the indoor turf for the very first time. The Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks hosted an open practice on Wednesday evening at the Wenatchee Valley College Rec Center, where their faithful new legions had the chance to meet the team's players and coaches and share their collective enthusiasm with one another, including father and son tandem James and Stephen Schaefer, who used to drive all the way to Spokane to support their indoor football teams.
We are from Wenatchee, and we traveled to Spokane for the Empire and the Shaw games, and now we've got our own home team, so we're supporting them.
I'm excited to have an indoor football league. He wants to do football, he wants to go to college and play football, so this is awesome. I know it sounds really silly, but I was excited that it's indoors because I thought that was going to be great. We didn't have to worry about the weather. We could go anyways, no matter what.
Holly West's son Nathaniel got a leg up on his future dreams of being a football player by working out with Wenatchee's new group of pros at the event, along with scores of other kids who had fun participating in some of the same drills their Gridiron heroes do during real practice sessions with the team. The fans' growing anticipation to unwrap the brand new season was also shared by the entire roster of Skyhawks players at the event as well.
Well, I think it's super cool. There was a large buzz about Skyhawks, and it's so great to see the kids.
It was to meet the fans, to see the type of people within Wenatchee, and just to have fun, just to spread the game, something that I love to do, and just to share with them is going to be fun today.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, once we get the people, we got the great experience, and everybody else around us, and build a home team, first year team. So you got to love the fans too.
It's always good to see the kids, and the mamas, how they smiling. It's just a good time.
Skyhawks owner Theo Hall was also in attendance at the preseason shindig and spoke to iFIBER 1 Sports about why he chose to bring pro indoor pigskins back to the Wenatchee Valley.
Because I think it's a need for it, Come on, look at this valley. It's beautiful. I think it's coming along pretty good, Weird little, bumps and bruises and things like that. We just we want to get out and spread our wings a little bit because, we're in a little trim. But I think once we get out and spread our wings, you'll see some really fast, talented players.
Before the Skyhawks' real workouts began on Wednesday evening, the team unveiled their brand new home and away jerseys for the inaugural season to both their fans and players. The Skyhawks will don the road unis in their first ever contest against the Idaho Horsemen in Nampa on March 23rd, before sporting the home regalia when they take on the Reno Express at the Town Toyota Center on March 28th. Reporting for iFIBER 1 Sports, I'm Chris Hansen.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.